Broadcasting from Hollywood, it's the official On Air with Brandon J podcast. Here we go.
What up? This is Chef Sean, and you're listening to the Brandon J podcast on iHeartRadio. You know, we getting it funky.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Brandon. Welcome to On Air with Brandon J. I'm joined by a special guest. You've heard the single on the radio, Runaway. I've got Chef Sean. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Man, I'm excited to do this interview because you got this album, My Life. You got, Runaways on the charts right now. It's doing its thing on radio. Congrats on all of that. Like, what have you been up to outside of promoting the album?
I'm working on a few different things, man. Just trying to stay busy. I got a weed brand that I'm launching pretty soon for legal pothead. And it's actually being distributed by Green Label, so it's gonna be dope.
Okay, congrats on that, because I know that's already going to be successful, because it seems like every artist that pioneers in that realm does very well.
Well, it's a lot of smoke going on. So it's like we're walking billboard for it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I was going to ask you, and this is something I'm fascinated with asking, all the artists right now. What are your thoughts on NFTs?
You know what? It took me a minute to even start paying attention to it, but it's a new wave. It's a new wave. My thoughts are, just get involved now, and see where it goes. But the virtual world is like taking over right now. So,
Hey man, Web 3.0 is where it's at, the metaverse. A lot of people are like, I'm scared of the metaverse. I don't want to be a part of it. But I'm like, I'm gonna find a way to tap into the metaverse, because that's the future. I mean, Bieber did it. He's been successful. All the brands are moving to the metaverse. I mean, Louis Vuitton, Nike, LeBron James, Disney, McDonald's. That's the new move.
Now, what exactly were you saying about what Tory Lanez did with the NFT?
Yeah, so Tory Lanez, basically, he launched his new album as an NFT and sold 1 million NFTs in a matter of like 30 minutes. It was crazy what he was able to accomplish. And
wow.
Yeah. And I think, when you have a real dedicated fan base, that's a brilliant move in terms of marketing. Like there's artists out there that may only have 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 followers, but really, how many people are going to truly purchase their product, their merch, a ticket to their show, an NFT? So
right.
It's about that loyalty. It's about that dedication. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. Shouts out to Tory for that.
Yeah, shout out to Tory for him and his entire team, because I know you got a great team behind you. And we're nothing without our team. The teams put this, my team, your team put this interview together. And I'm grateful to just have you on the show, just to take the time out of your day to speak to us, man. And, something I want to ask you, what is some advice that you would give to those artists out there, that, because there's a lot of noise when it comes to distribution, right? And I'm sure you've gotten approached constantly, people DMing you like, yo, do I go with this company? Do I go with that company? And you got the majors, like you got your Empire, your Sony, and your Universal and everybody. But then you got your indies like DistroKid and stuff like that. Like, what advice do you give these indies out there that are just getting started?
Master your craft, develop your sound. So it's ideal to, who you are. And stick with it. It's crazy, but if you stick with it, you'd be surprised the outcome sometimes. A lot of people aren't fortunate enough to be able to stick to it, because everyday life happens. You gotta pay bills. You gotta figure out ways to pay them, and when that shit isn't working right away, people find other things to do. But you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to keep going. And, you know, I'm reaping the benefits of sticking to it. You know, now it's paying off. So, you know, just stick to your craft. That's my advice to everyone. You know, if it's in your heart, you know, do it. And, you know, just do what makes you happy.
Thank you for sharing that advice. I think that's something that we all can take as a gem of wisdom and apply it. I mean, you know, whether you're doing a podcast or you're launching a new brand or you're embarking on the world of real estate, it's all about sticking with it, and nothing happens great overnight. At least that's what I've found out, right? Personally. Yeah. So,
you know, you have your few, you know, like, you know, for example, like a Soulja Boy or something like that. You got a few that can just do it overnight. But you got your fews like 2 Chainz. You know, his wasn't overnight, you know, and then when he really hit, he hit, you know, but he was in the game for a minute trying to find his niche. So, you know, it's all about sticking to it and, you know, staying true to yourself.
You know what's interesting is speaking of Soulja Boy, you know, now he's embarking on the social media platforms, and he's one of those artists, or one of those entrepreneurs, I should say, in general, right? That he attaches his name to something and it just takes off. Yeah. And there's very few that have that kind of success. Diddy is one of those guys. Russell Simmons is one of those guys. You know, even 50 Cent and others. But you're absolutely correct. You know, I think that authenticity over anything, it triumphs whatever you're trying to release, wherever you're trying to go. So, yes, sir, I agree with you, man. I guess I'm gonna simplify it. I agree with you.
I do.
So, man, you know, what's a fun fact that nobody can Google about you?
Should I smoke weed with Tupac?
You smoked with Tupac?
Yeah, that's a fun fact.
Where was that at?
The House of Blues on Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. Wow.
Yeah, back when the House of Blues was still on Sunset. It's not there no more.
You're too young to be hanging out with Tupac, man.
I was a baby too. I sure wasn't supposed to be smoking.
Hey, that's something we can't Google. So thank you for sharing that. Where can people go that are going to see this, that are going to hear this? Where can they go to follow you?
The Real Chef Sean. The Real Chef Sean. That's Sean spelled SEAN. Chef CHEF. The Real Chef Sean. And then on all platforms, my music, you can just look up Chef Sean.
Chef Sean, thank you so much for taking the time to do the interview. Congrats on all of your endeavors that you have on the way. And definitely keep me updated on social media on what you're doing next.
Okay. All right.
The Real Chef Sean right here on Air with Brandon J. I'm Brandon. We'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.
Having me, man.
Thank you for tuning in to On Air with Brandon J. Follow on Instagram at I am Brandon J.